Hey everybody, welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show where we talk about sports with a whole bunch of comedians. And let's hope we can get this show to be off and popping today because these buttons are sticking. I don't know what's going on over here. But anyway, let me bring in my man known as Talent up first. Talent, what's cracking? Don't be laughing at my buttons.
Hey, listen, man. Everybody know you do your personal business in another room. You don't do that by the buttons, man. Of course they're gonna be sticky. You set aside a whole other room for your little extracurricular activities, bro. You know what I mean?
I see. Are we gonna have one of them shows again today, right?
Yesterday was a stone cold blast. We just keep it real on this show. That's all.
Yeah, we definitely do. Next up is my man Rodney Perry. We ain't seen Rodney in a while. Rodney, how you doing today, sir? It's got to be like that, Rodney.
That's the no stick button proof. The good old faithful.
You never go wrong.
All right, well, as we wait for the other guys to join in on the show today, let's get ready to get this show started, man, because, we do the code report every day, man. Here's Dave. Let me bring in Dave. Dave, the business bully. Dave, how you doing today, sir? How everything?
Man, everything is beautiful. How about you?
All right. Everything's all right, man. And we do this code report every day, and some stuff just never ceases to amaze me. And it seems like even though our answers are repetitive, there's always some new news with this because, as we know, we're living in the times of this vaccine. And
right.
Morning, the NBA talent released a news statement saying that if you have not taken the COVID vaccine and you're playing in basically a city that's banned from that and everything else, you're not going to get a check. They are not going to pay you. And the NBA Players Association even signed we signed off on this. So now not only do you lose, obviously possibly not being able to play in your hometown, like if you're in New York,
right.
But you're still guaranteed to get a check. Now you're not getting a check. For some people like Kyrie Irving, that's a big check, bro. Talent, talk to me. What's your take?
Man, listen, the bigger the check, the more this is hurting. I told you, I said it yesterday, they're going to force you into that corner of you're gonna have to get it. I mean, we all have those corners. Anybody that's a productive member of society here in what we call the United States, they keep closing in and closing in. Everybody got those corners. Right now, this ain't our corners right now. So, but if you play in the NBA, these are your corners. I'm gonna keep doing this. Oh yeah, now Minnesota's under the guideline, New York, and and all they got to do is once you get all those main cities that got teams and games to be played. Guess what? You unemployed.
Yeah,
you vaccinated.
Yeah, you can be in some serious trouble real fast. Rodney Perry, what's your take on this, bro?
Man, I mean this whole thing with the this vaccine, man. I mean, I took the one shot, and I'm scheduled to take the second one today, actually. And even though I took it, man, I don't know if I'm completely on board, man. My sister was just getting on my nerves. That's why I just went and took it. But man, it's just one of those things, man, that we got to. It's part of our new reality, and people are saying you can't do certain stuff if you don't have it. So if you want to operate outside,
yep,
don't get it.
Yeah,
eventually we all gonna have to do it.
Definitely. Dave, what's your take on this?
To quote a young lady who was made famous on the Dr. Phil show, "Cash me outside." How about that? I ain't taking that vax. I ain't taking that jab. I will sit up in one of my two homes, minding my black ass business, and if I need something, my vaccinated concierge can get it. Because we don't know the long-term effects of this. I think Kyrie Irving is about to make himself, financially lighter in the pockets, but healthier in the long run. You know what I'm saying? And if you've got pre-existing conditions, do what you got to do. Like, nobody's mad at Rodney Perry for getting that shot because we don't want him turning into Clarence Carter, meaning he'd be stroking again. We don't need that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the situation and realize that, they're going to back you into a corner. And I feel sorry for the broke people.
Yeah, that was low.
It's a fact.
It's low. It's low.
If Kyrie earned the league, if Kyrie owned the league, would they be able to force him to do anything?
Good point.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, good point. I love these innuendos. I gotta love them, man. I just love them.
Thanks for coming.
That wasn't even a seat. Talent, get your notepad ready. Lord Jesus.
Yeah. And then like yesterday, we in for a treat. All right, here's the next thing, man. Talent. I'm gonna throw this up with you. Simone Biles came out with a statement 2 days ago saying that she should have quit before Tokyo because she felt that she would have been able to get more impact of the statements and basically with stuff that she was trying to say about the Larry Nassar investigation and the way the FBI handled all the Larry Nassar stuff. And if you're not familiar with this, Larry Nassar has been convicted, the doctor been convicted of basically having all kinds of sexual issues with the young girls who were in the Olympics for about 5 or 6 years before, 2 years definitely before the FBI even lifted a finger to do anything. Simone Biles says even though she's saying something now, she still had as much weight, before the Tokyo Olympics, and she had threatened not to even play this year. So, Talent, what's your take on Simone standing up now?
Man, coulda, woulda, shoulda. All of that stuff in hindsight. I wish people would move forward with stuff instead of going back, because she had and when you compare her accolades, it was a subpar performance, and now it seems like every couple of weeks I'm gonna say another thing of the reason why I didn't do good. Now I should have just stopped. I shouldn't even went ahead with it. But that's in hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. We all say that after the fact. These girls, it's terrible what happened to them. But thank God, delay or no delay, thank God, justice is being served up on a platter. You know what I mean? We don't know what that feels like, most of us. So you don't know the effect that has, for one, and you don't know how long and lingering said effect is. So I believe her. If she's saying, hey, man, I should have not forced myself to keep going because of that situation and the FBI dragging it out and it wasn't handled right and all that, what can you do but, believe this person?
Yeah, I agree with that. Rodney Perry, the FBI dragged it out for a long time, bro. So what's your take on what Simone ended up saying right now? She says, she should have quit before Tokyo. What's your take on that?
I mean, it's easy to go back, in the future and say what you would have done, but she didn't. But her not being in the sport now, she's still at the top of her game.
Right.
Her stepping away from it is still going to make an impact, but maybe not as big if she'd have done it before the Olympics. And she's a central figure. It's just disturbing, how these young women are being treated, man. It's really sad to me.
Yeah, I can't knock that either. Dave, what's your take, bro?
Well, Frank, since you asked, I will say that it wouldn't have made a difference if Simone Biles quit before Tokyo or after Tokyo. She is a black woman expecting the FBI, which cut its bones on persecuting black people, to protect her. Yeah, good luck with that. The other part of it is we're just not going to see. It's amazing the discrimination that happens on this show. When I say something completely innocent, it's innuendo. Talent literally just said long and lingering and the effects of whether or not it's long and lingering, and nobody batted an eye. It's cool. I see where it is. It's fine. Thank you. Just want to know.
It looked like it's gonna be one of those shows, but we off the.
Second I say something, one of those shows. Talent. Oh no, it's okay.
Here we go. All right, Talent, man. Manny Pacquiao officially retired, man. Manny Pacquiao is the only 8-division champion who ever graced stepped into the ring. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of amazing fights with this dude, man. Even though he's 43, 44, he's walking away from the boxing ring. He's probably one of the only guys who's going to probably ever be able to accomplish all the things he accomplished, man. But what's your thoughts on Manny Pacquiao retiring, man? What's your take on that?
It's a bittersweet thing. You always, I'm a big Manny fan, and you're always happy to see a person leave at the stage of the game where they didn't have to get beat to a pulp, or you're wheeling them out in the cart and stuff like that in this gladiator sport. But like I said, it's bitter too, because you're gonna miss them. The game's gonna miss them. To me, the 90s of boxing, man, that 80, 90, right at the beginning of the 2000s, that was an era that has started to deplete. And the more greats that lead the game, the more you're like, okay, they're really trying to force me into Buffalo Wild Wings to watch MMA. this is a plot. This is a conspiracy. You know, Mayweather, you hate to see him go because he's great at his game. Same thing with Manny. I'm going to miss him. I'm a big Manny Pacquiao fan, man. I thought the dude was super dope.
Yeah, I did too. Rodney Perry, what's your take on Manny Pacquiao walking away?
Well, I mean, you hate to see a boxer especially overstay their welcome, man. And you know, this last situation that Manny got himself into, he just didn't look good, man. So preserve your legacy, get out of there, Manny, because you probably gonna get tore up pretty soon.
You're gonna get tore up. It's incredible.
Dave, the business bully, what's your take on this, bro?
I mean, here's the thing, and I've said this before. Lord have mercy. I said this before. Manny Pacquiao looks like the guy who runs my IT department. I don't know if you know how many talented technical people are in the Philippines and how far $400 a month goes. Manny Pacquiao could have retired literally 6 titles ago and been just fine hooking up people's MySpace pages.
Wow.
I think at this point, we got to look at the fact that Manny Pacquiao got dusted, right? He waited way too long. Him and Floyd waited way too long to fight each other. He's not exactly, you know, a great guy on the mic, but in that ring, dude, you know, had a decent career, and then boom, he went up and kicked ass and took names. It's a sad day for boxing, but it's a great day for business.
Wasn't he about to run for the president of the Philippines? Didn't he run for president of the
Well,
Philippines?
I know he's a senator. I didn't know if he actually started the process of a presidential run, but I can't see why it wouldn't benefit him. That way he can stop taking his purses and saving his country single-handedly.
Yeah, because that's what you know. I think that's what he was trying to do and everything. All right, but the next thing is I'm gonna throw to you is something we've been talking about for a long time. It got made official. I want to say 3 days ago. But regardless, here's the thing: college players have now been officially touted as employees. It's by the Senate. They officially said that now college players are officially going to be employees of the colleges that they attend right now, and there's going to be no more talks of people trying to get some more percentages of their money and everything else. But none of that. It's just now that they are officially employees, from the first player to the last player. Each college team, whether it's football, basketball, whatever talent. We talked about this, man. I know you got to think that you got to be happy for these dudes because no matter what, you're going to get something. So everybody's going to get a check. What's your take, Count?
I'm gonna be that guy that show up at the college. But excuse me, sir, you work here? Like, yeah, I'm quarterback. All right, can you hand me that? Where can I find this dude is the starting quarterback, Heisman Trophy candidate? You walk up to, excuse me, sir, you work here? Ain't no toilet paper in the men's room. You gotta get some toilet paper in the men's room. But I don't work here like that. It's a good thing. Anything to get some money in these cats' pocket, I'm for. It's long overdue. Now, here's the thing. I want to see if we're going to handle this like black folks or white folks. Now, ask me what I mean by that.
What do you mean by that?
Thank you, guys. If you handle it like black folks, it's just a rule they put in place right now, and from now forward, you're getting money. But if you handle it like white folks in corporate America, there's some repercussions to be made up for the past. Do we go back and say, you know what? These guys need money too. They play. We play 4 years. Ohio State, give them some stipend.
Okay, all right.
Think about that. If you handle it like black folks, it's just the here and now. But if you handle it like corporate American, like white folks do business.
Rodney, what's your take, bro?
I want to know what Tyler is looking at. What's over there?
Dog.
What's up with there?
Ain't nothing over there but talentless bitches.
See?
What?
And you wonder why he going to jail. See what I'm saying? You can't just be saying stuff.
Rodney, what's your take, bro? What's your take?
I mean, we've been going back and forth with this whole thing. I had a chance to talk to some college students this past weekend, man, and I was really interested in how this whole thing was affecting them. And you know, if you're not a marquee player, it kind of don't affect you as much,
right?
But they can capitalize off their likeness, and they are in fact employees now, you know, and you know. But what you got to still continue to do is prepare for your next job with the NBA.
Yeah, most definitely. That's it. Dave, what's your take, bro?
I just want to know what the starting salary is, what the benefits are, what the licenses are going to be for their likenesses and name recognition, if they have any say on T-shirt design, apparel rights, if they get some type of affiliate deal. Like, there's questions that I have that I feel like every single matriculated student athlete should be finding an agent and asking, especially the ones that are starters, especially the ones that get blue chip type of selection. Like, that's where I would go with it, because this is the problem. Everybody tells you you're hot-ish, and then what you turn around, all you are is the big man on campus until they get you out of the system. I mean, graduate you, and you ain't got no money. And they still making money off of you. So it's time to start doing what I like to call stupendous math. But they ain't gonna listen to me because they just wants to get mama out the hood.
Ain't that the truth? All right, Benny. Let me jump into
why are you laughing?
The hot topic, man, that I couldn't wait to ask you guys about this one today, man. We all know that the Patriots are playing the Bucs this week and everything else, but Sam Wickersham released a book actually it came out this morning or yesterday morning and everything else. There's been a lot of accusations being made towards Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. And one big thing came out today was that Robert Kraft had some real issues with the Patriots head coach and called him basically, let me see, I want to make sure I get this, a serious asshole. Eric, and then also in the book, it says Eric Mangini and Bill Belichick nearly got into a fist fight at league meetings after the Spygate fallout. There's a whole lot of issues and stuff dropping in this book that's happening. Basically got released yesterday right now. So the thing is, I want to ask you, Talent, seems like they're uncovering a lot of things like that, and the Patriots were, some could say they still be able to hold it together because they still won 3 or 4 Super Bowls amongst all this. But the biggest bombshell to me is that the Patriots players were basically about to boycott the entire team when Bill Belichick signed on, got the letter from Donald Trump. It looked like he was trying to endorse Donald Trump, man. What's your take on that, Talent? All the stuff I just told you.
There's a lot. There's a lot to take in right there, but I just think that that's when you get politics, like you just said, the last thing about looking like he was about to endorse Donald Trump, the politics part is where I kind of drew the line with the whole Belichick thing. Everything else, man, I hate to say it, Frank, your team has been cheating for years, right? So everything else you kind of expect, you know what I mean? But in the heat of the climate the country was in at the time, where he figured him and Robert Kraft were like, yeah, we're gonna endorse it. See, that's where I draw the line with the politics. I mean, go ahead and cheat. Who said that? Rodney? Was it Rodney said if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying?
Yeah, that's Rodney.
Yep, that's Rodney.
Yeah, that's right. Rodney Perry, what's your take on this, man? Because right now it looks like a lot of stuff's coming out from Seth Wickersham's book saying the players who's going to boycott. Eric Mangini and Bill Belichick about to get into a fist fight after Spygate and everything. I mean, this is a lot going on, a lot to unpeel. What's your take?
Hey, man, it's the crazy part is we act like we don't know that the Patriots been cheating for 100 years. But I mean, I'm like, at the same time, it's just so much they could do. And so whether it's Robert Kraft issues, which he had his whole thing with the prostitutes and everything. This the thing, man. These guys, you got to know, if you're on a team, they're ultimate competitors and they only care about winning. So how they do it is of their own, their own doing. So again, I say if you ain't cheating a little bit, your ass ain't trying.
You ain't trying. Dave, what's your take on this, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, Frank. I just want to take a moment to just give you your flowers for putting together such a good show. I also want to take a minute to defend you. It is not apropos, it is not respectful for Rodney Perry and Talent to get up on this show that you put together, bringing up all these comedians so we can talk trash about sports, to sit up here and just deflate your ego when it comes to your team. I mean, when we talk about just letting somebody down, Frank, you know what I'm saying? Just taking the wind out of your sails, just taking the air out of your tires. I mean, the whole thing just falls flat when you think about it. Bro, your team is a gang of cheaters. They are the biggest football terrorists since the Dallas Cowboys. and the most entitled, self-aggrandizing team since the New York Football Giants. I said what I said. Frank, yo, I'm surprised there aren't volumes of books like Encyclopedia Britannica with step-by-step instructions on how exactly to rob an entire league of actual victories. Who are the referees that get paid off and so on and so forth, because that's what they do, bro.
Okay, all right. You know what? This is what I noticed. When you win a lot, or you're winning in any sport, there's a whole lot of books that come out and stuff, things that come out about you and everything else. There's a lot of things because everybody has their interest. When it was the Bulls in the 90s, there must have been 15 books. Now everybody got something to say. They sell a book or two. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know.
A lot of cheating gonna get you a lot of books.
I'm here to tell you. Listen, look at Will Chamberlain. 10,000. Those were some books.
I'm not about to be ganged up here with Kraft.
Whoa, ain't no grown ass man over here ganging on you, bro.
No disrespect, man. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I mean, I used to see this game this weekend, and if it come down to it, it get real close. We know stuff can happen.
Only me when I'm sitting here with a thing full of, All right, so you know what? Since we're gonna go there, man, let me go there with you, Mr. Rodney Perry. I'm gonna start with Calendar first, though, man. Matt Nagy, coach of the Chicago Bears. I woke up this morning. Chicago media is trying to have Matt Nagy fired because the Chicago Bears had 1 net yard against this, and according to the game plan, he literally game planned Justin Fields not to run the ball. Not to run the ball. Talent, what's your take on Matt Nagy's game plan, and should he be fired after week 3 in the NFL? What's your take?
Yeah, fire his ass. You know what I mean? 1 yard, 1 job. Out. Yeah, 1 job to do, bro. You brought me back 1 yard. If you went up and down that field and didn't score, there's still a few hundred yards. You got 1 yard? I'm with him, Frank. I mean, and that little clause right there, that caveat right there is the biggest part of it. It's one thing to, hey, man, just wasn't our day. But when you add that little piece, like I gave instructions for Justin Fields not to run.
Right.
You did that to yourself. You put yourself in that position. Yeah, it's fireworthy. I agree with that.
All right, so Rodney Perry, I have never heard of an NFL team to get 1 net passing yard.
No. Hell.
I've never heard of that in my life, but you're a Chicago Bears fan, so you tell me how what's your fan base looking at right now, man?
First of all, Frank, you get 30 yards running out to the field.
Yeah.
It's like the SATs.
Yeah, they give you 30. They give you 30 yards just off the top.
That's
right?
a 30-yard run coming out the little hole. It's 30 yards, easy.
So they give you that. All right. So Rodney Perry, what's your take on that? Should he one net yard, and should Matt Nagy be fired? Because you're the Chicago Bears fan on the panel, bro. What's your take on this?
No, I don't think Matt Nagy is as that fireable yet. I mean, it's not all his fault. The organization has failed to secure an offensive line, and if you don't have an offensive line, you're gonna fail at running and you're gonna fail at passing. And so I've been saying this for the last couple of seasons, man. It's a very tough situation in Chicago until they get some big boys to protect their QB and their running back. So should he be fired? I don't think not yet, but they got to fire somebody.
Yeah, somebody's head got to roll with this one. Dave, what's your take with this, man? Should the offensive coordinator be fired, and maybe that'll help some of the Chicago Bears fan cool to fire down, or should it just be Matt Nagy?
Can we just fire whoever's recruiting for the Bears? Can we fire that person? Are there not any unrestricted free agents they can get to hem up that offensive line? Because if the offensive line is tight, then Justin Fields can actually get and I'm going to listen. 3 net feet, Frank. Stop calling it 1 net yard. 3 net feet. Put some respect on that yard, bro. But that's the problem. It's the offensive line. Because you could put anybody, you could put any coach in the NFL you want. You could dig up the bones of Tom Landry, and it won't help the fact that offensive line doesn't exist. Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. How many times do we have to say this? Firing the coach is not going to change the fact that you have a gaping hole. Like you're going for some type of PH All-Star thing. And if y'all don't know what PH is, I'm trying to make sure Frank doesn't have to edit, but I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. You go online late at night, bottle of lotion.
Bro. See, there you go. I got it.
What?
You're making me have to edit
You
again.
know,
You're making me have to edit again.
pH balance, your skin. I have dry skin. I got Malik Yoba elbows. What are you talking?
I like
with
the way
y'all?
you pushed the periodic table real fast. I like that. I caught that too, Dave. I like that, man. All right, since we're talking about the football, I'm gonna ask a couple more questions of football. Then we got to jump in a couple of other things, man. But over the weekend, we all saw the Lions and the Ravens game, man, in town. There was a big no call for that 66-yard punt, and the NFL came out this morning and they basically backed, the no call. Now, if you're sitting at home, you're wondering what I'm talking about. The kicker kicked a 66-yard field goal. It was clean as day for me sitting in my living room that there was a motion penalty that should have been called, and it should have got pushed back and made a 71-yard field goal, which would have never probably happened, and the Lions would probably have won that game. The call didn't happen, and now, of course, Detroit Lion fans are highly upset because the call didn't happen, and the NFL is sticking behind what they say, man. What's your take on this, Talent? What's your take?
Well, I mean, this is the beginning of the season, man. 3 weeks in, you gotta get these calls. You gotta get these calls in the wraps because we've seen this year after year, where these big games, that once you get to the playoffs, if you don't get these calls in the wrap, you're gonna have big teams and big moments lose games that count the most. We've seen this shit happen, bro. I thought they got a wrap on this by now, but. Remember the first time they started to go back to the replay and they would look after the game and go, yo, that was pass interference. Yeah, but what the fuck does that mean if I still lose?
Right.
If you're not looking at a replay and changing a call that's clearly you looked at it, you've seen it, needs to be reversed. If you don't do that, or even if you do it after the fact, and I still got the L on my record, you're not doing the justice to the game. They got to get better at this shit, bro.
Yeah. This is Rodney, this is almost as bad as that. What was it? A couple of years ago? Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago? With the Saints game when it was clearly pass interference, man. It as bad as that. You know what I mean? And if I can remember correctly, wasn't it the Saints versus Green Bay, or it was the Saints versus somebody where it was clear pass interference and the team won, and the Saints didn't go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So Rodney, what's your take on this, bro?
Man. I watched the game and it looked like a bad call from the jump, but I mean you can't take it back. And they had a chance. They looked at the tape, and apparently they saw something that we didn't see. So the kick was crazy, 60-some yards. So I'm rooting for the Ravens right now because I got their quarterback in my fantasy. So I'm just glad they won the game.
Of course you said that. It's fantasy. All right. Dave, what's your take on this, bro? What's your take on this, man? Because honestly, let's be honest, man. It's clear as day. It's as bad as that Saints call. There's like 3 or 4 calls. As bad as that Dez Bryant call. It's bad. Dez Bryant call where he clearly caught the ball for the Cowboys. What's your take on this, Dave?
Frank, when I was in North Carolina doing radio, I moonlighted as a professional wrestler. I was trained by a guy named Johnny Lightning. Shawn Michaels trained him. And the first thing that they teach you is the importance of suspension of disbelief. You have to convince the audience that you really hate the other guy, and the same thing happens in the NFL. The NFL is predetermined. I don't care what anybody says. Does it take a certain amount of skill to play football? Absolutely. Does it take a certain amount of skill to dance and make it look like you're hurting the other guy? Absolutely. NFL and pro wrestling are the same thing because they all have you believing and suspending your disbelief that these officials are fair and impartial. Girl, bye. That's it. I have zero else to say.
I gotta say before we move on to the next thing, I didn't think Justin Tucker was even gonna make the field goal or anything else. I think this is a big deal because he made the field goal and because the Lions won. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing of it. I mean, maybe I could be wrong, but
watch everybody tune in next week to see what happens with the Lions.
Yeah, but the Lions.
Nobody give a damn what happened with the Lions. Only way you would care what happened to the Lions is they get some real Lions out there.
Yeah.
You get some of them Siegfried Roy Tigers.
All right, so since we talk about the football, man, I think the last question I might have 1 or 2 more about football. I don't know. But I want to ask you, yesterday I highlighted the fact that we were going to talk about LeBron James in 2011, man. He was literally seriously considering about going into the NFL. He said there was 2 teams that was in contact with him, And in 2011, I looked it up and I was going through it. I still can't figure out which were the two teams that he was seriously considering going to play for. So I'm thinking one of them had to be the Cleveland Browns. That's what I'm thinking. But he was supposed to be the tight end. He was going to go play for the tight end position, and he was literally considering it. And he got a couple of offers from two NFL teams. Talent. Who do you think the two NFL teams were, and whatever else thought you might have on that?
First of all, I don't give a damn. I don't know why these stories or what. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a story. I was gonna before I did comedy, I was gonna punch. I was gonna sucker punch Riddick Bowe. Had some good seats at the fight, and I was right there. I could. I was gonna do that. But then I did comedy. Here's the thing. Who did like? I don't know. I would say like LeBron James, right? Yeah, probably Cleveland, just on some because he's a homeboy. You know what I mean? He reps home to the fullest. So I can see the Browns, and if it's not the Browns, I see him playing in a warm place, taking his talents to South Beach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Dolphins did so. It might have been the Lions. So come to think of it, it might have been the Browns.
Only if it was going to be real Lions out there.
Rodney Perry, who you think? It's just LeBron James is one of your favorite players out there. Who you think he was going to play?
Football wise, I mean, Talon said the Cleveland Browns. That's obvious pick, and maybe that Ravens squad because the Ravens was the original Browns, right? And so maybe what we know now as the Ravens could have been fit for him. But I mean, LeBron's a big guy, but he ain't trying to get hit. Ain't no flopping in the NBA, NFL. I mean.
Yeah, definitely none of that.
He this is a good conversation, but he excuse me.
Might need a booster. Might need a booster.
Dave, what's your take on that, bro?
Yeah, I agree with everybody as far as the Browns, definitely, but let's keep it real. LeBron James is fast. It's a man who did a 4.140. Like the dude is fast. The best place he could play, aside from the Cleveland Browns, is the All Madden team. LeBron is not Deion Sanders. He's not a two-sport guy. Are y'all nuttier than Hooker Spit? Shout out to James Hanna, RIP. Are you crazy? LeBron James would have gotten his head taken off. Because do you know what would happen? Do you know who the most famous man in NFL history would have been? The guy that put LeBron James on the shelf. Okay? Everybody and their mom would have sent him right back to the NBA because he's a target. All he is a distraction, just like when Michael Jordan decided to play baseball, if that's what you want to call it. Sideshow attraction, clown move. Thank God his people told him not to do that.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. If LeBron James had played because Michael Jordan was one of the worst players in baseball, he wouldn't even been on the team if it hadn't been for Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? He wouldn't even have been there. Let me just throw something in between this conversation too, man. The WNBA right now, I saw a report this morning saying that they're getting in its own way because they have a confusing TV schedule. They have a lack of merchandise, even though the games are being watched by more people than they ever. It's just that everything's all over the place. So people are saying, why the WNBA can't get out of its own way right now. And then, of course, there's some people, of course, sports pundits out there want the NBA to step in and try to help them, even though, they haven't sorted out their NBA, TV schedule. They haven't sorted out merchandise and haven't, like the chick right now who just won for the WNBA, she doesn't have a lot of merchandise in a lot of the stores and everything else like that. So people are saying that the WNBA is failing because it's their fault. What's your take on that, Count?
So, I mean, we all know, merchandising is a big part of the game. Any game of entertainment, sports and otherwise. I mean, who do we blame for that? You know what I mean? If they're at a deficit and the NBA, we know the NBA's on top of it. So you can go on NBA.com and buy a jersey of a dude who don't even know he drafted. They got so much merch. You can get anything you want. I don't know who's to blame for this, Frank, but I mean, they do need to step the game up, and there is some sort of blame that has to go on the league because it's your league. You know what I mean? And it's just like, we always joke about me wearing some It's Just Comedy brand stuff every day, but that's really what it is. You're your own. The league is to blame to a certain extent because you're your own walking billboard.
Bro, they should hire you. I'm gonna call somebody at the WNBA office to hire talent to help them merchandise, because you know how to merchandise better than anybody in the business. Rodney Perry, talk to me. But what's your take on the WNBA? Supposedly can't get out of its own way, man. They're tripping all over themselves with horrible TV scheduling and lousy merchandise and everything. What's your take? Can't hear you, Rodney.
I'm sorry. I don't think it's their fault. They got to take scraps, man, because they don't have the viewership to demand a primetime spot. They want them, and I've caught some games that was, in some prime spots, but it's also an NFL game on at the same time. So, excuse me, a little cold.
Oh gosh,
you okay?
Oh gosh, really?
I just want to make sure you're okay, bro. Don't stroke out.
I'm not gonna stroke out.
Thank you.
But the here goes, man. Nobody's watching the WNBA but talent.
Dave, what's your take on this, bro?
Yeah, I don't. Merchandise is a funny thing. It just, you know what I'm saying? It lets you know. It lets you know that you support a team. Now, since 1996, the WNBA has operated at a $10 million deficit each and every year. That's ridiculous. If any of y'all, if you worked at McDonald's and operated your McDonald's at a $10 deficit, your ass is fired, right? Not only that, there have been several times where the NBA has come and said, let us help you. Let's do some mergers, this, that, and the third. People forget back in the 90s, the WNBA had they had Cheryl Swoops, they had Lisa Leslie, they had Dawn Staley. Like, if you can't sell tickets with Skylar Diggins' fine ass, there's something wrong. And what is wrong is they don't do anything to appeal to women. They don't have specialized nights. You know how you can go and get 2-for-1 beer night or bobblehead night at the NBA? You're not getting any of that at the WNBA. They don't do anything to market that. And I'm sorry, as dope as Sue Bird is, I'm not going to be wearing a Sue Bird jersey, primarily because I'm a straight man. But other than that, like, I don't understand it. And then I'm not trying to be funny, but they do. Out of the women who do watch the NBA, statistically speaking, most of them, statistically speaking, are lesbians. So, if in fact, it's a statistical fact, men are first, then lesbian. You can Google this. Like, these are not jokes. So they don't do. If you don't appeal to your audience, if talent got up there and say, "This is just Shakespeare," everybody would boo his ass off the stage because he's not known for Shakespeare.
Right.
He appeals to his audience. They have failed the audience. They have failed women. They have failed to gain interest. They're just a market full of fail with all that potential, and they're just sitting on billions and don't know what to do with it. Sorry, I've been holding that in since '96.
I don't know. I slightly disagree with the bully in terms of, like you said, their audience is women, but not necessarily straight women, and I think they need to do more to get men and boys into that game, into watching it, and even if it's just for the fundamentals of playing a great game of basketball. And but I think you're right in terms of they've been failing, but the failure is, who is their audience? It's because it's not women, it's not men, but it's our need for equality. Because if it wasn't for equality, they would have been off the air.
But women's basketball does well in every other undeveloped nation, second only to soccer in a lot of other superpower nations. It is only here, and you can go look. The Croatian team is dope as hell. The Spain team is dope as hell. You want to know why? Because they're filled with NCAA champions from here. It's only us, and we don't want to market, and they don't want the help.
Yeah, and
they're socialist trash
so what
too.
You're saying is America is sexist. Until America starts being sexist, the WNBA will never flourish.
It's not even that they're sexist. They don't believe in the brand, and they don't know how to do that. Here's the thing. I met with the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks said, listen, this is what we want to do. I said, this is how you fix your social. This is how you get people in. You start looking at influencers and reality stars, and you start getting them to use their Instagram audience because they're based in Atlanta. Hey, I got a box at this game. Come through. I'm going to be taking pictures at halftime, this, that, and the third. You use OPA, other people's audiences, to bring heat to it. Jack Nicholson made the Lakers what it was, aside from what was going on the court, because the fact to see that type of an actor at a game, and all you had to do was buy season tickets or get some floor seats, boom, it happened. Spike Lee has been keeping the lights on in New York for the Knicks for the past 3 decades. This is not hard to figure out here, people. It's not sexism, it's stupidity.
Let's also add one other caveat. Let me add a cherry on top. Now, since the women can dunk, you would think that they'd be taking. You would think you'd be seeing dunking posters and everything.
But who knows that, Frank? You want to know why there's no promos of these women dunking? Where's the last time you've seen a WNBA montage of them slamming somebody and posterizing them?
So we saying it's not sexism?
No, we're saying that.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this condom away.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're not gonna have no use for it in that locker room, but okay.
Yeah. I had my hopes up.
Apparently, you had more than that up. It's a Magnum.
Not yet. My pee-pee wasn't up, but I was on my way. And then you guys sure know how to mess up a wet dream. No sexism.
And you guys sure know how to make me want to edit, man. I appreciate that. But anyway, since we talk about things that aren't going to get up, you know what I mean?
Frank, you have to edit that.
I'm sorry. All right, so did I go back to since we talk about people things that are wet noodle? The biggest noodle out there right now has got to be Ben Simmons because of simple fact, big talent. The issue came out that Ben Simmons has serious issues with Joel Embiid. It came out last night. Ben Simmons said, as people said, that was the reason why he wants to leave Philly because he has serious issues with Joel Embiid. And if you notice, a couple of days ago when they asked Joel Embiid, hey, you want to fly and get on this plane with the other players and talk to Ben Simmons? He said something crazy out of his neck. He was basically, he did the shrug movement. I don't know, and everything. So they both, the problem is, now it's made clear, they have issues with each other. So Ben Simmons is going to get traded. And Ben Simmons even said, talent, that he would rather sit out a whole year and miss all that money. He said it yesterday officially because yesterday was media day. He said he'd rather sit out a whole year than rather play for the Sixers. Talent, this is serious, bro.
This is the difference between being Batman and Robin.
Well,
if you Batman and you had a problem with somebody, you go, listen, get rid of this nigga. But you rob it. So when you rob it, you can't. So you don't have that weight. You go, I want to leave. Please get rid of me, because you ain't got no power. Get rid of him. But didn't I say this? I knew that. I'm like, dude, and all that happened was he already was cocky this year. Like Joel Embiid was at his cockiest level this year, and rightfully so. He was putting up the numbers to match it, so he had the right to be that way. When he started getting later in the season and, towards the playoffs and all that and the tweaking and the minor injuries and everything, now the weight goes on this guy's shoulder. Mr. Simmons has to produce. You have to pick up and carry that load. And I guarantee you, from the smack that Embiid talks, every time he didn't pick that up or drop that ball or they lost an important game, whatever, I know he was mouth almighty on this young boy. And he can't take it. That's the difference of what the basketball we grew up on. Those was grown-ass men out there back in the day. Them was grown-ass, beer-chugging, cookout having, beef sausages eating paws, big grown-ass men. These are young dudes. Young, light-skinned dudes. Very sensitive.
Getting pampered the whole time. Rodney Prey, what's your take on this, man? Ben Simmons has some serious issues with Joel Embiid, man. What's your take?
You're going to have issues when you're getting your ass beat. So that's just the occupational hazard of losing. So if these guys were winning, they would find a way to coexist, but they're not. So the organization, I blame Doc on some level because Doc was supposed to come there and reignite that team and get those guys on the same page, and he failed at that. And so the only thing that can save that team is to get them winning and like really winning for real and on a legitimate playoff run.
Yeah,
because it's Simmons this year. It's gonna be somebody else jumping off that ship next year.
Yeah, a great point. Dave, you're in Philly. What's your take on this, bro?
Well, I want to first agree with Rodney Perry. Doc Rivers is about as unifying in Philadelphia as a vegan cheesesteak. The thing with Embiid, you okay over there? The thing with Embiid is he got on television last night or early this morning and said, I really want to play with Ben because he's a big part of what we're building here. Look here, T'Challa. Where was that energy when old High Yella started to first get his Kardashian wine on? Like, bro, you a day late and dollar short. You are a typical Philadelphia athlete. You are doing it after the fact when no one cares and it does not count. I honestly think that he's been told by upper management, get on television and say that you really want to be here with Ben Simmons and you need him to pull this out, because right now the Sixers have absolutely no hope, no choice, and nobody wants to come here. People want to play for the Bishop Sycamore basketball team before they want to come play for the Sixers after this debacle. Ben Simmons has this team held hostage, like the building in Die Hard in his yippee-ki-yay. Mother sucker. Shout out to Michael Blackson.
Well, all I gotta say is on this last thing on this last subject. All I gotta say is however how Philly handles it, it could either make their franchise go for the better or for the worse, because it depends on what they get for him. You know what I mean? I'm just saying if they get a lot of if he stays and it could be real ugly. But if he leaves and they get a superstar in return, wow, you know what I mean? Like imagine this. Here's the thing, talent. Imagine, and I'm gonna leave it with this. Imagine if they make a trade with Minnesota and they get Karl Anthony Towns for him right now. You know what I mean? Imagine that. So it could be it could happen because Minnesota right now has the most to give. So people are speculating that right now. So I don't know. Last subject, man, and then we gotta wrap this stuff up. Kristaps Porzingis says now that he did demand he wanted to trade during the offseason last year. He said, but now he's happy. He's happy because Jason Kidd can't hear you, Rodney. He said because Jason Kidd now is the new coach. He's happy. He's willing to stay. He wants to try it out, work it out, and he also wants Dallas to end up seeing if they can get another player to come in there. So, talent, you got. Tell me what you think, man. Because Kristaps, you was a New York Knicks fan, man. He came from the Knicks, went down to Dallas. He got upset while he's in Dallas, and he says now he wants to stay. What's your take?
My take is he's soft.
Mm-hmm.
He was soft in New York, and when you soft, you be injury prone. Is the kid talented? Does he have the potential? Absolutely. But will he be that guy to ever maximize that potential? I would bet against that because of, when you're a prima donna in this league too early, which is what he became real early, you're not going to get to your potential. You know what I mean? And he's soft. Like if you're pissed off and you about to demand a trade and you want to leave and all that, and all of a sudden they get a coach in, I like that guy. I'll stay. Let's get one more person. Let's finish getting rid of yours.
Roddy, what's your take, bro?
Look, man, I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
We are talking about Kristaps Porzingis wanting to stay because they got a new head coach.
Who is Kristaps? Like, why do we care? Kristaps, a guy named Kristaps needs to stay where he at.
Right.
Just on the fact, like, your name ain't Embiid or just chill out, man. And no, all jokes aside, man. He's looking for a better situation, like most people, man. And but he ain't about to get it no time soon.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Dave, what's your take on this, bro?
I think he's right as far as Jason Kidd and wanting to stick it out. I'm definitely not mad at that. I just don't understand. Like back in do you remember when we were younger and I don't remember folks being this. Maybe it's because of the internet and social media. These folks just seem to be complaining about everything. Like where are the franchises anymore? Not the manufactured like they did In Vogue and the Spice Girls franchises. I'm talking about like where are the franchises that built and gelled over time with a coach and great players. And every once in a while you have somebody fall off, but you can put them right back in. You know what I'm saying? You get somebody else. Oh, let's go grab Dennis Rodman so he can lead the league in rebounds. That makes sense. Like right now, I just see a bunch of whiny little, it's all about me players. Bunch of opera singers, like Paul Mooney would say, God rest his soul. Out here, because I'm here talking about opera singers.
That's all gone. That's all gone. That's all gone. All right, y'all. That's the show, man. Let's get wrap this up. Rodney Perry, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, I'm easy to find. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry live on all social media.
There you go. Talent, talk to me, bro.
Hey, Talent the Comedian on IG. It's just comedy on Twitter and King Talent Harris on Facebook, like that.
Dave, talk to me.
Yeah, it's at the Business Bully on Facebook and Instagram. Everywhere else is DA Business Bully. Duh, Business Bully. Because I'm dope. Follow me.
Fig will be back tomorrow. Of course, Mike Sean will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to have more conversations about a lot of stuff. It looks like a lot of people are really going in on this Tom Brady and Bill Belichick book they seem to have dropped. Can't wait to unpeel that between now and tomorrow. And then we've got a couple other hot topics. We're going to talk about all that. You know how we do. We're
going to air it out.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna try to keep it clean, and we're gonna try to stop getting low in the sexual innuendos. We're gonna try to stop doing all that. I promise you all, no more noodle talk, none of that, no more condoms, no more new editions.
What condom?
Y'all, we out here, man. The show's called Box Seats. It plays live 1 to 2, and the replay is from 3 to 4 on the Humor Mill channel. Y'all, thanks for watching, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.